What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the studio. Let me get this music turned down a little bit. Oh, we'll just go ahead and turn it all the way down. What do we think about the intro music? Do we like it? It's a little cheesy? A little corny, maybe? I like it. It's for me. I'm doing it. I like it. Cool. Well, welcome back. Thanks for being here. We got a fun day of game design ahead of us, folks. Really fun day. This is a second ever stream on Studio Spicy. If you're new here, hi, I'm Sam. Thanks for coming in. What we do around here is live stream basically the game design process. So I'm a full-time owner and operator and mostly game designer here at Play Games. And Studio Spicy is sort of a new side project that I've started up recently to take you, yes, you, looking at you, directly behind the scenes of the game design process. So last time we looked at a design that I've been working on for quite some time now and has come a long way. It's nearing the final stages of design. This time we're on the opposite end of the spectrum. We're looking at something that's very early in the design process. Very, very early. In fact, it's not much more than a design doc and a spreadsheet. And we're going to kind of see where we can take it today, how far we can get. We've got some to-do lists. Let me pop that down. I feel like this is an integral part of the Studio Spicy experience, is project-based, crossing things off a list. So that's why this is here, but maybe it's annoying. We'll see. Always open to changing it. But yeah, on the list for today is we're going to review the design. We're going to design some card text. We're going to design some card templates. Then we're going to do maybe some concept art, some concept styling of the cards, and then hopefully we can get something playable by the end of the day. And when I say playable, I use the word playable very loosely. We're it literally just, needs to be a game that we can play. It will be a bad game, invariably, inevitably. The first time you play, it's always, at least in my experience, bad. And this will be the very first time that we play it. But let's talk a little bit about what we're doing today, what the game is. So this is an idea. Really, it is just an idea. Just an idea that has been kind of rattling around in my head for a while now. And the idea essentially is, what if you had like what about a trading card game? I'm a big trading card game guy. What if you had a trading card game where it's like a fighting game type deal? So like think Street Fighter, think Tekken, think Smash Bros, that sort of thing. Really what you're thinking more along the lines of actually though is like Marvel versus Capcom. I'm trying to think. I know there's other games that have done like where you're doing three guys at a time. Usually all the versus Capcom games do have some variation of that. But yeah, let's see. Where was I? Yeah, so that's the idea. It's like, so maybe I should just jump into this design doc and we'll kind of work through over there. But it's a fighting game, card game. The idea is that you're going to pick not one deck, not two decks, 3 decks. Each of the decks is going to represent a different fighter that you're bringing into battle. And there will be some interplay between them. But the main thing is that you'll have 3 distinct decks that you'll sort of be rotating between at different times in the game. So yeah, that's the core idea. My thought is that we'll just kind of go through this design doc. I'll walk you through all the thoughts that I've kind of been percolating up until now. And I've also got a loose start on a spreadsheet going here for some card text. So that will also come into play today, I think. What I don't have any start on yet is card templates. So that will be a big challenge, a big thing to do today. We might not get through all of it, but once again, just for reference, here's the list. We're going to get started on it right now. Cool. So let's start by just kind of going through this design doc. And this is something that I've been working on for maybe a couple months now. Maybe a couple months. Just coming back to it with some spaces in between. Thinking about it, jotting some notes down, coming back to it later, revising, so on and so forth. So this is by no means like a... I think sometimes when people say design doc, they're talking about like, these are the rules, this is what it's going to be. This is a much looser thing than that. That being said, let's work through it. So triple tag fighter. Whoa. What did we just do? Okay. Triple tag fighter is the working title, the name of the game, obviously. Will not be called that ultimately, but it's a trading card game where you build 3 small decks. Small is very important here. That each represent a unique fighter, creating a tag team trio to take into battle against your opponents. The highlights is that you'll have 3 decks instead of 1. Really, you'll have 5 decks. We'll come back to that in a bit, though. The decks are small, capital S, small. Only 12 cards. 12, still kind of up in the air kind of number. Doesn't necessarily have to be 12, but 12 is what I'm thinking right now. And then there will be a deck drafting component to it that I'm pretty excited about. Sounds cool to me. Right off the bat, I should talk about some inspirations here. So end of last year, I was playing a lot of Marvel Snap and thinking about how awesome it is to be able to play a trading card game with just 12 cards and not having to worry about like, oh, I need 4 of this. There's no duplicates. There's no like real... I think a small deck size really emphasizes the importance of each of the cards in a way that like a 60 card deck just can't really. Big advantage. I'm obsessed with it. I really want to make this work. So that's the highlights. I kind of forget what exactly I've got written down here, but we're just going to go through all of it. So you're going to pick any 3 fighters to build your team. Each fighter has 1 or more classes, colors. I think at some point in here I've changed it to styles. But it's essentially like types or whatever in Pokemon or Magic, or I think Yu-Gi-Oh has it too. Could be wrong on that. Haven't played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh. They determine what types of cards they can have in their deck, as well as special trait of some sort. Build a deck of exactly 12 cards. For each of your fighters, you'll have 3 separate decks. 3 separate decks of 12 cards. You can put any cards you want in your deck as long as they adhere to some rules. It's not super important. The deck building angle of it, I think we won't even start to explore until we have like a working framework down with like some pre-constructed decks. So after you build your deck, you're ready to play the game. So for competitive play, okay, so here's the 5 deck idea. Here's where this comes into play. So instead of just making 3 decks, you'll bring 5 total decks, 60 total cards, which is pretty standard for trading card games. And then you and your opponent will alternate picking the ones that you'll use. Starting player picks 1, and then it's like a back and forth draft kind of deal. But you're only picking from your deck. So you bring 5, you draft 3, and then you play. I think that's, the other 2 are set aside, not used in this particular game. So you'll pick a starting player. Starting player selects which of their 3 fighters begins the game with. Second player selects their starting fighter. Both players draw a hand of 4 cards. 4 is kind of up in the air. Here, I need to remember to do this. I need to, we're going to sort of highlight some things as we go through here. Purple is going to be our questionable color. These are question marks. 12 cards? Question mark? Definitely not certain. 4 cards to form their starting fighters. Form their hand from their starting fighter's deck. Then they take turns. So here's playing the game. Object of the game is to knock out all 3 of your opponent's fighters. Whoever accomplishes This first is the winner. Game consists of alternating turns between players where you play cards from your hand or swap fighters. Okay, so swapping fighters is an important concept here. So you'll have your 3 decks, and I know this isn't the first game, the first trading card game to use this idea of multiple decks, but usually, at least from what I can tell, Netrunner is the other one that comes to mind when you think of multiple decks in a trading card game. But my understanding is that normally it's like you're going to use both your decks at the same time. Or actually, maybe Netrunner is the exception to that. And there's other games like Magic, you get your extra deck, and Yu-Gi-Oh! I think also has something like that. But anyways, it's multiple decks. You're using one of them at a time, though. And swapping your fighters is how you move between those decks. So during your turn, you play cards from your hand, or you swap your fighter. It's 2 things. Playing cards, swapping fighter. We're going to do playing cards first. So you can play as many cards as you want during your turn, as long as the combined charge cost. Charge is important. Highlight that. Ooh, that's a bad highlight color. As long as the combined charge cost does not exceed your fighter's current charge. So played cards go to the play area until the end of the turn. This is all standard trading card game stuff. You play a card, it costs something, and it costs a resource that you have a finite amount of during your turn. You will get more resources as the game progresses, so you can play bigger cards. And then the resources that you spend come back to you at the start of your next turn. So that's just kind of what this is going over here. The play area, there's effects. You resolve the effects as soon as it enters play. This is maybe not super interesting for the purposes of what we're doing today. This is just kind of like nitty-gritty rule stuff. So the other big thing you can do is you can swap fighters. The key takeaway from this is that you've got cards in your hand. You play them. You can play as many cards as you want, as long as you can pay for them. Once you're done playing cards, passes to your opponent, so on and so forth. That's the basic framework. The second thing you can do instead of that is you can swap your fighters. So whenever you swap fighters, you're going to collect all of the cards belonging to your current active fighters deck and reshuffle them. So everything on the table on your side of the table gets put back into a big pile, back into the deck. It's actually not that big because it's only 12 cards. And then reshuffled back up for the next time that you swap them back in. Then you pick a new fighter to bring out. You're going to draw a fresh hand of 4. And then there are some things that will stay over between exchanges. So fighters will keep all of their damage, all of the charge that they've built up. And I think that's the 2 main things when they switch out of the active spot. So switching fighters ends your turn. There are, however, some fighters that I'm thinking will have like moves that they can use as a swap instead of just a hard, I'm doing this. That's my whole thing that I'm doing for my turn. So that could be interesting. Now we're getting into like some styles. I've kind of gone through multiple iterations of this. So you can see there's like two different sets of tags and keywords that I'm playing around with here. First one is Slugger, Assassin, Brute Caster, Awakened, Aegis, Hustler, Burst. It's been a while since I looked at this. I'm not sure what all these were supposed to be. But then you can say I refined it a little bit down here. I think what was going through my head at this time was it would be nice if they were all 1-syllable words. If each of the classes, each of the styles was 1-syllable words. So that's how we get like Burst, Flow, Trick, Brute, Cast. What is that? It's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. I think there's supposed to be 6, so I'm not sure what the 6th one would be. Maybe I still hadn't come up with that. Got some archetypes outlined for like maybe what types of cards would go into each class. I'm not super jazzed about this. I think in general, you don't want to like pigeonhole any one of the any one class in particular into like doing one thing. But yeah, just some loose ideas for starting out with some designs at least. And then finally down here, I've got like some fighters that I'm thinking of making just like to start off the just to have something to play with. One thing that's important to note that I don't think I actually did outline anywhere in here, I should find a place to add this in, is that you will have each fighter is going to be represented by like a card. So this card stays outside of the deck, and it's like a leader card in the One Piece trading card game or Flesh and Blood or something like that. They have this idea of like a leader card. And it'll tell you basically what kind of cards you can put in your deck, how much HP your guy has, maybe a special trait of some kind. Actually, now that I'm saying this out loud, I think I did have this included in the design somewhere. Oh, well, it's in my head, so it's not crucial. I just wanted to get that out there. Yeah, for the sake of this design session that we're about to do. So I think that's about all we want to look at here. Let's jump into the spreadsheet now. So this is the working card spreadsheet. I guess I'll just kind of walk you through it column by column here. If you watched yesterday's stream, then this should look maybe a little bit familiar. This is how I usually tend to design cards when I'm going to be designing a lot of them at the same time. So I'll start with the spreadsheet, and eventually the spreadsheet will get sent through a data merge process in the InDesign document that I'm going to lay out the cards in. But this is just like an easy way to kind of organize and keep track of everything and look at it all just at a glance. So what's on these cards? First, there's a name. Got some names for the fighters. Not super important. Just kind of for the purpose of having something there. Got a card number. This is mostly just to make sure that there's exactly 12 cards in each of these decks. You can see the different colors kind of separate the decks as well. There's a name of the attack or action or card, I guess. Not all the cards are going to be attacks. Not all the cards are going to be actions. We'll go through like the different types of cards here in a minute. There's a cost associated with the card. So this is the amount of charge, it's like the resource that the game will function off of. This is the amount of charge that you'll have to exhaust in order to play this card. There's a charge modifier. So this is kind of an interesting one. Initially, when I was working on these cards, the idea of like gaining charge in the same way that you would gain mana in Magic was just like text printed on a lot of these cards. So it would say like deal 1 damage, gain 1 charge. I was finding that enough of the cards had that it started to make sense to just kind of give it its own spot on the card. So this charge modifier column tells us basically, are you gaining charge? Are you losing charge? Is there no change to your fighter's charge when you play this card? That's what we're getting from this. So you can see +1, +1, -1. Some of them have dashes. That's just nothing, obviously. The reason I don't have like a plus sign here, the reason I've written out plus and minus instead of the signs is that for some reason Google Docs or Google Spreadsheets likes to, whenever you put a math function in there, it says, oh yeah, this is definitely just a function. You want me to add like some other columns together. And then when you don't tell it what to add together, it freaks out. So that's why that's there. But fun little behind the scenes info. Style. Okay, so this is like color basically. Color, type, what have you. Not important, I don't think, for the early design because we're kind of pre-constructing these decks anyways, and I don't think the color is really going to play a huge part in the function of the cards outside of just telling you which cards you can put in your deck. Maybe that changes later, but for now I've just left it blank. Now we've got type and tags. So this is, these two kind of work together. Tag, you can think of tags as like a subclass of the type of the card. There are going to be a number of different types of cards. And the type of card basically will just tell you, I think, how it will be played, what its function is when it gets played. So right now you can see there's mostly just actions. There's a few of these gear cards, and then there's some assist cards as well. I'm thinking we probably also want to have some reaction cards that are like things you can play on your opponent's turn, just so there's a little bit of stuff you could potentially do. You're not just sitting around watching your opponent play the game. Don't have any of that built in here yet. But and then there's the tags next to it. So the tags are kind of like a subcategory, like I was saying, of the type. So actions, there are some attack actions. There are some, I'm calling them stance actions. I'm trying to stick to like fighting game lingo as much as I can, just for the theme of the game. Help the theme come through. So actions have stance and attack. Could very well be more tags as these cards develop. And then for gear, I'm sort of specifying where the gear goes on your fighter's body. So and you can't have more than one piece of gear equipped to the same body part, I guess. So you can't have like more than one piece of head gear. You can't have more than one piece of hand gear. There'll probably be like body gear too or something. We'll see. So that's what the tags for that are. And then okay, so then there's the assists as well. I'm thinking there will be some assists. Again, this is kind of a fighting game thing. So you think of like, oh gosh, what's a good one? The Naruto game does this. What's that game called? Naruto Ninja Storm or something. Pokken Tournament does this, where you like pick an assist before you go into battle, and it's like this is the guy that comes out and helps you sometimes when you press like a assist button. So you can have one assist card in your deck, and I'm thinking they'll probably do different things. Right now, both of these are like deploy assists, which I'm thinking will basically mean they stay on the field while they're active until they go away, until they get knocked out or whatever. So yeah, I think that takes us through tags. HP, this only is applicable to deploy cards. Maybe the gear should have HP too. I'm thinking that your opponent will have ways to like remove the cards that you've put into play. So yeah, we should give the gear HP as well. In fact, why don't we do that right now? We'll say that Phoenix Band gets 2 HP. There we go. That's game design. It's just that easy. Sometimes you just pick a number. So anyways, that's HP. Most of these cards won't have it because they're just like, play it and it's done. And then there's card text. So obviously this is where the most nuance comes into play, and where we'll have the most design space. So we've got stuff right now that's like deal damage, draw cards. The gear will like stay on the field and impact cards that you play later on. So this says when you deal damage, deal 1 more damage, just like a nice flat buff. Your next attack costs 2 less charge, so and deals 2 more damage. When I was going through putting the text on these cards, I was really just trying to think of how can we make 12 cards in a deck that are all totally unique from each other, but still kind of work together towards one like fighter identity. So this guy, for example, Cage, does like he just does a lot of damage, and he has a lot of ways to boost his damage, and he has a lot of ways to get to his damage faster. So mostly just dealing damage, deal, draw cards, helps you get there faster. You can build up charge and then do like a big burst move by removing as much charge as you want, dealing damage for how much you removed. I don't know if we want to go through like all of the text on these cards. I think maybe we'll do that after we've laid the rest of this out. But for now, just know that there is text on the cards, and I think I actually do have 1 card still to make. So, and that'll be a fun process to go through as well, I think. So there's Cage, and then there's Zero. Cage is the red guy, Zero is the blue guy. There's more down here as well, but I've done 0 work on those so far. And, yeah, so Cage's thing is that he kind of just does a lot of damage and boosts his damage. Zero's thing is that he plays around with charge a lot, and it's kind of tricky. He can build up charge quickly, or like skip charge payments in some occasions, draw a lot of cards. Although, with a 12-card deck, drawing cards is, I think, a mechanic that probably want to use sparingly. Or maybe not. That's something I go back and forth on. I think a lot of it's just going to come from playing the game and seeing how it feels to draw your entire deck in like one turn. Part of me feels like, as long as there's still cost associated with the cards, maybe it's not such a bad thing to pretty easily be able to have just like your whole deck in your hand at one time, and now you're just picking cards to play. Especially if there's strategic reasons for you to swap out. So you could see like building up your entire deck in your hand is like a powering up your guy. And now you want to make sure you're getting the most use out of that, but also not missing an opportunity to swap. I don't know. These are the kind of strategies that I'm hoping will find their way into the gameplay here. So where were we? We're looking at 0, and I have one attack down here that I still need to flesh out. Not flesh out, but come up with still. So let's just kind of do that. A thought that I'm having as I'm looking at the rest of his deck is that this is probably going to be a key card. So it's a piece of gear where, and remember, gear is going to stay in play after you play it. And so as long as he has this gear in play, whenever you remove a charge, you're going to get to draw a card. So obviously this means that you want to be removing a lot of charge. You want to be using a lot of attacks that remove charge in order to pay for them. But he doesn't have that many of those right now. So I'm thinking this bottom attack will probably want to be that. So with that in mind, he's got this where you can remove 2 charge from the opposing active fighter. I don't know if that actually would count towards this. I think the idea I had in mind with this was whenever you use an attack that removes charge from your fighter. So maybe I need to clarify this a little bit. From this fighter, draw a card. So yeah, maybe that's a good distinction to make. I am trying to be very conscious, though, of text complexity. Most of these cards right now are pretty simple. And I'd like to keep it that way. I think sort of the overarching theme of this game is going to be small, simple, straightforward. The fun comes in, and the complexity comes in choosing which 3 fairly straightforward, different strategies you're going to take into each game. So let's give this guy another attack that's going to reduce his charge. So let's say, let's make it a low cost. He's got a lot of 0s right now. So maybe it shouldn't be too low. Let's make it a 2. I guess I like the number 2 today. My process when it comes to early stuff like this is mostly just what feels right, what sounds like it's going to be fun. And obviously there's no play testing at this point to back that up with, but we'll get there eventually. Charge modifier. Okay, so this is the part that will activate this. So he's got 3 other attacks that do it right now. Let's make it a -1. And this is going to be an action. And maybe you should make it a stance, because I think his other 2... Yeah, that's an attack. That's an attack. That's an attack. Let's give him a stance where he has to reduce. Although he has a lot of stances already, it'll be an attack. And I don't know. What does he want to do? Does he do damage? Does he do much damage already? I kind of forget. That's damage. That's damage. That's damage. Okay, so he has some options. He has a lot of options, but none of them really deal that much. Oh, maybe we want to... This one's -1. Deal 2 damage. It's kind of what I was thinking to do with this one again. But can't give him the same attack twice. Maybe he gets to draw some cards. Maybe it's deal some damage and draw some cards. That sounds good, actually. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's have him deal 1 damage. Draw a card. Oh, have I already done this? Oh, yeah, he already has that. It's on a 1-0. Okay. Well, maybe we need to make it stronger. Maybe it needs to be 2 cards. Although, like I was saying, 2 cards feels like a lot for a game where you have 12 cards in your deck. So maybe we need to explore some other options. What other effects do we already have on him? Play an attack and ignore its charge cost modifier. Afterwards, your turn ends. Oh. Okay, so maybe we can give him an attack that plays into this as well. So maybe we can go like, I don't know, 4 -1. Let's do 3. 3 is a decent amount of charge. Maybe it should be 3 -3. So that it is a big cost. And then we can kind of overpower this effect a little bit, I think. So maybe it's deal 3 damage. And draw 2 cards. I don't know. This is the kind of thing that I probably should have... it's hard to think up on the spot. And I'm sure not very interesting to sit here and watch me blankly stare at a screen while I come up with ideas. So just for the sake of having something in this spot for now, we're going to go deal 3 damage, draw 2 cards. Sure. Great. So, yeah, that'll basically wrap up our guys that we've got here. And from this point, I think we are ready to, well, maybe not quite yet. I think I want to outline I want to go back to our design doc and kind of outline these different types of cards. Let's drop down this to-do list again. Yeah, we're going to cross this off. And design card text, yeah, I think we've accomplished that as well. There wasn't that much to design. I thought there was going to be more, actually. Cross that off. Cool. So, next thing I want to do here is start designing some card templates. Before we do that, I think it's going to be helpful to know what the templates are. So, let's get in here and let's find a good spot to start outlining card types. You know what? We're going to do this visually. We're going to hop into Photoshop. I think that's going to be more entertaining than looking at a Google Doc. Sure. Okay, so we're going to have some different card types. Make this legible. Oh, gotta turn the list off. Oops. Okay, card types. So there will obviously be a leader card. Hold on. Let's make this the actual size of a card here. Scale it down a little bit. And then we can go through and mock up some rough layouts after this is done here. Around the corners, why not? 23. Okay. So we'll call this leader cards. Let's maybe pick a less bold font. And then there will be assist cards. All caps. Then there will be action cards separated into what was it? Attacks and stances? Yeah. So let's call this action cards. Scale this down a little bit. Yeah, what's a good font? What's a good width for this? Go with that. No, that's still too bold. Maybe do this. Yeah, that looks good. So we'll have attacks. I think it's a little smaller too. And we'll have stances. And then for the gear cards, yeah, I don't know that we need this much distinction for gear cards. You know what? We should probably put a third type of action card in here for reactions. You know what? I don't like this layout. We're gonna save this. We're gonna delete everything else. Move this all over. Because I think the layouts for these action cards are going to end up being pretty similar. So we don't need to have separate illustrations for each of them. Hey, Jerry. Doing good. How are you? Hope you're having a good day. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you being here. We are working on we're roughing out a new design concept that I got going here. I need to be better at looking at this chat. I'm not sure when exactly you posted that. Hopefully you've been tuned in long enough to know what's going on here. But, of course, let me know if you have any questions at all. Happy to explain myself. Nice. Good to hear they're doing good. Where were we? What was I doing? These are action cards. And then we've got a few types of actions. You know what? We'll go like this. There's attack, there's stance, and there's reaction. Bring this down here. Okay. Okay, let me go back to the doc real quick and see what we've got here. And if this matches up. So, yeah, stances, attacks, gear, assists. I guess there will be some different types of assists. And I wonder if maybe the action cards can borrow these as well. So I think there will be like attack assists, deploy. And when it comes right down to it, deploy is really just a different way of saying gear. I don't know if they're going to really function any differently. Except I guess the gear is going to be restricted as to just one of each. A thought that is going through my head, though, as I'm saying this, is that with 12 cards in a deck, do you really need to put restrictions on the further restrictions on cards? I'm kind of thinking not. But, these are the things that we think about. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this. I think we can start maybe getting into what all is on each of these. So let's zoom in. And let's start roughing out some details on here. So what needs to go on a leader card? Let's not call it leader card. That's not exactly what's going on. They're not really leaders, it's your fighter. Fighter card is more accurate. So he's going to need a name. And we'll start by just kind of... Should we organize this? We should probably organize a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. So they're going to have like a name, right? That's the first thing. And they're going to have hit points. Somewhere. And they're going to have a color somewhere. And they're going to have probably some kind of an ability somewhere. So I think color and hit points typically go kind of up towards the top. Maybe that's hit points. Maybe this is color. And maybe this is text. The rest of this is artwork. I tend to take a little bit of a different approach to this stage of the design process. I think traditionally the idea is that you kind of just get the text on, like, you scribble it out on just a blank card first and worry about like all this formatting stuff, like layout of the cards afterwards. But for me, the layout in a lot of ways informs the function of the cards. So for me, and the way my head works, it's helpful to have an idea of what the card might look like. Obviously, this is not set in stone in any way at all, but just have an idea of what it might look like in mind going into the design process. The earlier on I can get it out and, expressed visually, the better. This will be hit points. Doesn't have to be called hit points, but communicates it well, I think. Then over here we'll get like, this will be type. And that will need to get scaled down a little bit. Okay. Good start. Let's skip assist cards for now. I have a feeling that action cards, gear cards, assist cards, they're all going to end up using basically the same layout. So let's move on to attack cards, because I think this is what we're going to see the most of. Just make sure we still have this all organized. Should be able to turn it all off with one button. Yep, very good. So, action cards. We're again going to do a little bit of organization first. So these 3 layers grouped up should form all of that. Yep. Okay, great. So we'll go in here, start adding some blocks for where this stuff is going to go. So again, we'll probably start with a name. That will probably go up top. And then we are also going to need, this is where this spreadsheet is going to come in handy, because we need to put a spot for each of these columns, basically, on the card. So let's start working that in. So let's do cost. And now, to be clear, cost is the amount of charge that you're going to need to, exhaust. You won't lose it. It comes back to you at the end of the turn, or at the start of your next turn. But you can only use it once per turn. So that's what the exhaust cost is. So I think traditionally cost kind of goes in the upper left, upper right maybe. So let's do that. Maybe something like that. Maybe scoop the name over a little bit. And, okay, so we got cost, we got the charge modifier. Oh, yeah, all right, so Yes. So I had an idea of kind of having these two, um, displaying these two parts of the card next to each other and in a way to kind of note that they're connected. They're both affecting your available charge, but sort of in different ways. So I'm imagining something like two boxes that are sort of intersecting. Let me just visually show you what I'm talking about. Let's grab our pen tool, add anchor point, put it kind of in the middle there, and then direct select. Oops, wait. Why is it curved? Well, I thought I knew how to do this, but appearing I don't. Yeah, that's fine for what we're trying to communicate here. Probably bring it in a little bit actually, and then so this will be one box, and the next one will kind of go like this. Grab that pen tool again. And kind of go like this. So this will be exhaust cost. This will be charge modifier. Hopefully this isn't too complex of a resource system. I feel like it's not, but I could see where maybe it could get a little complicated. So I'm actually picturing this kind of going right about here. We'll leave this box here for something else. Let's make a little room for the artwork. Probably go something like this. And again, this is like for sure way sooner in the process than I think most people would think about artwork. But this is my process. This is what we're doing this stream for. I'm showing you how I would do it. So I'm liking the way this looks. Let's come back to our spreadsheet and see. So we've got cost and modifier both on there. Style. Oh, this could be style. That's where the style thing will go. That's good because I think it's going to be the same. Yeah, type. It's in the same spot as it is on the action card, or on the fighter cards rather. So we'll make that a little smaller even. Give the name a little more room. So we need type of card. Okay. So type is different than style. Style is like the color. Type is the classification of it. So maybe that can go down below the name. Something like that. Doesn't need to be huge. Probably a lot of it can be indicated by like a color on the card. The way the card is styled. What if we put it down here? I kind of like that actually. Yeah, because then you can do tags next to it as well. That would be like a nice horizontal layout. Something like that. Now we need tags. Tags will also go down there. That's fine. HP. So not every card is going to have that, but I think the ones that do we'll maybe put that like here. And then finally the text. That's obviously going to take up basically the rest of the card. Something like that. Let's see if we can get this centered. I think that's centered on the card. If not, oh well. And you know what, let's, just to kind of distinguish this, let's give it a little stroke. Like that. Yeah, and again, that's not going to be on every card, so it's not super important that it's out of the way. But, okay, so that's basically what these action cards will look like, and probably also what the gear cards will look like. I wonder if we can't just make 2 card layouts here. Because I think probably what we could do is just delete this, and then kind of go like this. And just know that, you know, all of these are going to share this same layout, essentially. Yeah, I like that. Let's bump up the stroke on these a little bit. Let's go in and put some text on this as well. So let's go like this. Let's do, that's white, obviously. It's going to be the name. Type, not type, color, I guess is what we'll call it. Style. Style's the official. Yeah, so quick update. Stream crashed. My computer crashed. Very cool. Hasn't done that before. I have a hunch that it has something to do with me trying to record and stream and run Photoshop and have Chrome tabs open all at the same time. Probably. But remains to be seen. This time I am not recording locally. I'm kind of relying on Twitch's video storage thing to be able to download that later. Haven't downloaded anything from there yet, so hopefully the quality comes out all right. But either way, we're gonna continue on with today's stream, I think, without recording locally. So we'll just see how it turns out. Anyways, I guess we're just gonna pick up back where we left off. If you missed the first part of the stream, hi, welcome. I'm Sam. This is Studio Spicy. Today we're working on a early version of a combat card game that I'm currently hard to even say that I'm currently designing. I'm currently interested in it. It's currently an idea that interests me. Here is kind of where we left off last time. I'm actually going to pull up the we lost a little bit of progress here. I want to see if I can pull up the VOD on my channel to see what this looked like before. Because it is there. Hopefully this isn't too complex. Yeah. We don't need double audio, thank you. Yeah. This is what we want. Okay, so this is this. I'm just going to copy this. This is where we were at before my computer crashed. I'm just going to quickly recreate that over here on this screen. So give me just a second to do that. While I do, let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever. I will. I'm trying to do my best to keep my eye on chat while I stream here. This is a new experience for me, so I'm certainly not the best at it yet. Trying to get better. But yeah, let's see. So we had these guys. Okay, I'm glad this didn't get deleted because that would have been a pain to go back in and have to redo. So we had a box down here for text. As I'm going through this, I guess I'll quickly recap where we were with this process. So we are making a card layout, and for this game, I was kind of in the middle of explaining last time how I think I sort of work backwards or opposite to the direction that this is typically done in. I think usually you just kind of rough out the cards in as simple a way as you can. You just get blank cards and like scribble on them, write on them, and don't really care about how it's all laid out. But for me, at least, in the way that my head works, it's a lot easier if I know kind of roughly, loosely, where stuff is going to go on a card visually before I get too deep into designing mechanics and that sort of thing. So I think we've got it. I think this is it. And then the last thing that we did last time was we decided we don't need to have separate cards for separate card. What would you call these? Layouts, mock-ups for each of these categories of cards. We're just going to have one card over here that's basically represents all of these. The fighter card we'll keep separate off to the side because that is actually a little bit different. And let's give this some room to breathe. Move this stuff over here. And then grab all this. Just like that. Perfect. I'll bring up the stroke on these boxes a little bit. And maybe move all this stuff down. Bring that over there. We'll probably make this bigger. 5. Good. Okay, let's get into these boxes and kind of outline what's going in there. So you're in this group right here. So this is going to be the name of the card. Bump that font size up. This is going to be the style, the fighting style. I'll shrink that down a little bit. Should also change this to say style instead of type. Just so it's clear that it's the same thing. Cool. Yeah, so then we've got back over to here. This is the cost. And this is the modifier. It's probably clearer terminology we could use to describe those two things, but we will figure that out later. For now, this is just for us. Text. effect. This is where the type and tags is going to live. And then this box over here is going to be HP only on cards that that's relevant for, though. Most cards won't have this. It's only for cards that stay in play. Okay. So this is good. This is a good start, I think. Good visual roadmap to work from as we continue to as we work towards having a playable version of this to try this out. So I like this. Let's pull up our to-do list real quick. So we're in the design card templates phase of this right now. I don't think we're quite ready to get to the concept styling and art. I think what I'd like to do next is get this into InDesign and get a template going that we can run a data merge on eventually. So why don't we do that? I'm also kind of wondering if maybe it would be good to have... Is it bad manners to eat on stream? Probably. I've got almonds, though. How can I not eat this? Come on. Habanero barbecue? Come on. You expect me to not eat that? I'm having another. Part of me wants to get into Illustrator and make a cartoon. Actually, okay, here's what we're going to do. I've just decided. Here is what we're going to do. We're going to go like this. We're going to take this group here. We're going to do a new document. And we need it to be trading card size. So I think that is that. Guide layout. Playing card bleed. Got a preset made for this already. So this is just a standard playing card sized card with a 5mm bleed around it. And we're going to come back over here. We're going to take all of this. Well, actually, we can just grab the group because we're organized. Just grab this, copy that, paste this, scale it. Very nice. Beautiful. Okay, so now let's get this ready to... We don't need like the boxes. We don't need this outline around it. And we also don't need this text inside of each of these boxes. Let's make a new group, call that text. Turn that off. Okay, so now we can take this. Oh, shoot, I keep forgetting to turn my list off over here. Oh, well. Let me quickly hop back over to Twitch as well, just so I can keep tabs on the stream. What? What's going on? Am I not live? No, I'm live. Okay, good. Good. All right, so yeah, let's go export this, save as, bring this over here. What the heck? Oh, did I not click save as? Okay. Ah, I see. Yeah, get that out of here. Let me find a good spot for this. Games. Do I have a folder already? Looks like I don't. Let's make one. Triple tag fighter. We'll save this as action card template. Perfect. Okay, now we can get into InDesign. Oh, wait. Do you know it was... We can discover more about whatever this moon is. I always love when they give you, like, little announcements about obscure holidays that are going on today. Those are always my favorite. Like when it was National Beaver Day. That was pretty exciting. Would never have known if Microsoft Edge hadn't let me know. Would have totally missed it. All right. We want inches. I think we want this. No? Is it this? Yeah, that's what we want. Should we? I guess we'll lay this out for print. We'll lay it out for print first, and then Tabletop Simulator afterwards. I think that makes sense. Does it? I think so. So let's go File. Let's make a frame first. 2.5 by 3.5. Great. Now I got to change this to millimeters. Units and increments. Millimeters. Make a new layer on top of that. This is actually going to be a bleed layer. This is going to be the card size. And the bleed is actually going to be 5 millimeters larger. So it'll be 68.5 by 93.9 millimeters. Very good. Get that centered there. Also take a second to set up our registration. Call this reg. And I do these at 17.5 by 17.5. And the reason is so that this is also obscure and is never going to matter to anyone else ever. But the way that our cutting machine works, if I set up the registration like this, I've got a 2.5 millimeter bleed around the card. If I set the registration at 17 millimeters, and it starts cutting on the paper at a nice clean 20 millimeter point. So it makes it really easy to run math, basically, is what this is for. So let's lock the registration layer for now. And get back onto our bleed layer and drag in that template that we just made. Find that. Triple tag fighter action card template, and there we are. So now let's, as soon as I'm seeing this, I'm thinking that black is going to be a harsh color. We don't want to work in black. Let's change the color on this to like a nice gray, maybe. Let's grab all these boxes except for that one. Did we deselect that? Deselect that. And change the fill from gray, from that to maybe like this. Maybe a little. That's probably good, actually. And we'll go in on this one. Change the stroke to the same color. Save that. Come back into InDesign. Update it. There we go. So now let's start putting some text boxes on here. We're working a new text layer. So we're going to go name. Let's style this as well. We'll style it after. No, we should style it now, because we're going to be copy and pasting this all over the place. So I've been really liking the Anybody font lately. And the font that's actually available for free. Open commercial license. So if anybody wants the link to that, hit me up. Be happy to share. It's a great, nice, clean, modern, blocky font. Bump this up to maybe 18 point. Cool. Copy, paste. We are going to have to think about iconography at some point. I think that the charge, cost, and modifier should probably be icons. For now, though, we'll just keep it with numbers in a font. So this will be cost. Cats. Cost. Nope. There we go. That's cost, and this is mod. This is going to be the text. Go something like this. Probably center it. Change the font to something a little less bold. Maybe we go regular bold. Maybe we go medium. That's probably good. Let's take caps lock off for this. Probably will drop that size down to 12 again. My is about this HP box. Since it's not going to be on most cards, I think we're actually going to do something a little funky with it. We're going to cross that bridge in just 1 second. This is going to be type tags. Okay, so what we're going to do... Wait, what is this? This is style. I think we're not even going to mess with the style for now, actually. So that'll just stay blank. And come back over here. And I'm going to turn off this box, actually. So don't want to delete it because we might come back to it later, but we are going to turn it off. And then we're going to make a new... Well, actually, before we turn it off, let's copy it. Save this. New document. From clipboard size, that's perfect. We're going to paste. All right, so this is our box. And now we're just going to export this. Or we can save it as a PSD, that's fine. Saving it off screen here. Call this HP box template. Oof. HP box template. .psd. Great. Okay. Then what we're going to do, we can update this. So you can see that box is gone now. And what we're going to do is grab our spreadsheet and actually do a new column for HP box is what it's going to be called. But we're going to give it a special tag. It's actually the same way that we're going to put artwork on the cards eventually, later on down the line. Give it a little, I don't know what this symbol is called. Apostrophe, I think. I think it's an apostrophe. I should know what an apostrophe is. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. And then @ and for some reason, the data merge function will just recognize that that is a call to pull an image from a directory. So now we want to, right now it's pretty simple because we don't really have much file pathing going on. So as long as we keep all of our files in one root folder, we can just tell it to grab an image. And we can just literally type out the name of the image or the file that we wanted to grab. So if we go HP _ box _ template.psd, then it'll know to look for this file and to pull the file and put it into this whatever box we tell the data merge to fill this with. It's coming to my attention that we need to give these other pieces of gear HP as well. So let's go ahead and do that. This can be, I don't know, 3. And this guy can be, we'll have him be 2. Seems good. Wait, no, 2 goes there. This is the tag. I guess he's a deploy. Yeah, good. So let's go ahead and download this now. Actually, I think we're ready. We could name the rest of these attacks. I think we're fine just leaving them with empty names for now, though. We just really want to get something playable here as fast as possible. So we go download CSV. And we're just going to drag that file that we downloaded into the root folder for Triple Tag Fighter. You can see it's just got those 2 Photoshop documents in it right now. Probably we should save this as well. So let's save this. And let's go games, Triple Tag Fighter, and we'll call it Triple Tag Fighter card template .indesign. Okay, so now we have another file in there. And I think we're ready to set up our data merge. So we're going to go like this. Over to this tab. Select data source. Navigate to the root folder. Grab this CSV that we just downloaded. Hit open. Oh, interesting. Okay, so sometimes you get errors like this. I already know how to fix this. Sometimes it's a mystery how you're going to fix it, and it requires a little bit of digging. But right now I can just tell you it's because this has an empty name. It doesn't like when there's no name for the column. So I'll just call this fighter name, I guess. We're not going to use it anyway, so it doesn't matter. And we'll just re-download this. Delete the old one. Drag it in here. Bring this off to the side. And just get rid of the annoying little 1 at the end of this. Great. Go back in here. Okay, so now when we open this up, yeah, you can see that we get lots of options for all the different columns that we made over in our Google spreadsheet. So name is going to be name. Cost is going to be cost. Mod is modifier. We're just telling it which column to plug into which box now. Text is going to be text. Type. We can actually put multiple columns into one text box if we need to, which we do here. So that'll be type. We'll leave the dash in between there, so it'll keep that. This is tags. And then this is where we do that HP box thing we were talking about. So let's come back in here, make a frame for where the HP box should go. And now we will, we're actually going to put this on a separate layer because otherwise it'll be two items on the same layer with the same size, which is never a good idea. So we'll call this images. Drag it down below text. First we'll plug in the text here, actually. So this will be the HP. And then we'll copy and paste this onto the images layer. Make sure, oops. Drag this out to the side. Make sure we delete everything in there. And we just drag it right behind the HP box. Go back in here. And you can see how the HP box, you probably can't see because it's really small, but this one has an image icon next to it. That's just telling you the little, put an image in there. Thanks to that little tag that we applied in the spreadsheet. So I think we are ready to just kind of preview this. Click on preview, and you can already see that we're getting exactly what we want here. And if we navigate through these cards a little bit, you'll see that they're all different. Okay, so here's the Phoenix band. This is gear. This is going to have the HP box. And now you can see, here's the HP box right down there, just like we told it to have. This one doesn't have it. This one does. You can see that we need to style this text a little bit. So we'll lock that images layer. Come in here and just kind of go back to the anybody font. Black is probably good. Center it. And bring the size up to 24 and probably drop it down a little bit. So it's kind of centered in that box. That looks good. Maybe not that much. Up one. Good. Okay, I think I also wanted to make gear in a different, or the card type in a different font so that it's clear these are two distinct features. Let's make this maybe, let's make it extra bold. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, I'm liking this. I am liking the way this looks. So, yeah, this is good stuff. Okay, I do want to do one thing. I'm realizing that it's going to be tough to distinguish the two cards from one each other. For the two fighters, the cards that belong to each fighter. It's going to be hard to distinguish those from one another. I think my solution to that for now is going to be to change the color of these boxes. And let me show you how we're going to do that. So, pretty simple. We're going to save this as a new document. And we're just going to call it like red card template. And then we're just going to grab all these boxes, except for this bottom one, because we don't want to change the fill on that. Change the fill to something red. We're going to make it not quite so red, though. So we can still read text pretty easily. I think that'll be good. And then we can change the stroke on this bottom one as well if we want. So we'll save that. And we'll save as. We'll do the same thing again. We'll call it blue card template. Okay. Exact same thing. Select it all. Remove the bottom one from the selection. Grab this color. Maybe do something like that. That's a little bright. Maybe something like that is better. It's still a little bright. That's probably good. Just want to be able to read the text on top of it. Let's go ahead and save this. And now, just like we did for the HP box, we're going to go back into our spreadsheet and tell it to grab different images for each of these fighters. So let's call it maybe new column. Let's call it card BG. Card background. Make sure you give it the same apostrophe at before so that it knows we're looking for an image. And then come over here, and we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to paste in the image name. So for this guy, it's going to be redcardtemplate.psd. Drag that down. For this guy, it's going to be bluecardtemplate.psd. Drag that down. Awesome. Download this new one. Drag it into our root folder. Delete the old one. Change the name so that we can just update the current data source, not have to add a new one in there. Oops, did not mean to do that. You can't even see what I'm doing, so that doesn't matter. Drag this back over here. Come over here. Click this. Update data source. And now, go ahead and lock this layer. So we're only on our bleed layer. That's where this static image is right now. But I actually want to get rid of the static image. And now over here, we can tell it to pipe in the card BG image. And now, that's a blue card. That's red. Oh, wait, what's going on here? Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, we actually don't need all of the... we got way more cards here than we need. I forgot that I had all this extra stuff on the spreadsheet. You scroll down, obviously these are each columns, and it thinks that each of these are things that we want to make cards for. But we don't, so I'll just have to tell it to not export those, which will be easy. So I think we're ready to look at this. Let's see what we get. Gotta set up the margins again. Top is 17.5. And then the left will also be 17.5. And we want a range. We want 1 through, I guess, 24. Because there's 12 cards in each one. Let's see. Perfect. We got some overset text here. That's fine. We'll yeah, we'll fix that manually. I'm not super sure what is getting overset here. But yeah, there you go. There's the cards. And we'll view these in preview mode to give you a better idea. So there's all the cards that we had in the spreadsheet. There's the HP cards. We have not done the leader cards yet. But that's okay. We'll get to that eventually. We might do those by hand. Yeah, I'm thinking we'll probably do those by hand. Oh, yeah, I see what the overset text is going to be. Let's actually go back in and fix that now. We won't fix that now, because I think what I want to do next is style these card templates. Now that we know basically what they're going to look like and know that it's going to work, I think we're ready to add a little bit of style to these. Let's drop down that to-do list again. Where did that go? Yeah, so we definitely designed the card templates. That's what we just finished. Let me cross that off. Cool. Concept, style, and art is next. All right. Yeah, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's think about what these cards are going to look like. So, to just kind of give you an idea of what's going on here, these cards would be totally fine for playtesting. We could playtest it right now with the cards that we have on screen. Don't really have anyone to playtest with at this very moment, so can't very well do that. We're going to skip that step. And instead of playtesting, we're just going to make it look cool. That's kind of the plan here. So, what my thinking is that we'll probably go into Illustrator and make essentially just a way nicer version of this. We're just going to take this and make it look like a trading card, basically. So, let's do it. Turn this list off. What's new? This looks cool. What is this, packaging? That's super cool. Not today, though. Let's do playing card size. Yeah, we actually need a little bit big. Yeah, this is the one we want. And, you know, we'll actually design an RGB color space. Why does it give me a warning message? Chosen color mode is different than the color space defined by the document profile. What? Panel content. I don't think we care about that. Make it. Okay. So this is the template that we've got. This is the size of the card. And usually at this point in the process, I like to start looking at some reference images. So we're going to do that. Pull up a new window. And we're going to look at some Pokemon cards. Because this is where I think a lot of my inspiration is just going to naturally come from. So it'll probably be a good place to start. Specifically, I want to look at trainer cards. So, obviously, none of this is going to be a one-to-one for the cards that we're making today, but you can kind of see some similarities. So they've got this is actually really similar to what I'm doing with type and tags. So they've got it up at the top of the card instead of at the bottom. It says trainer Pokemon tool would be like the tag. Trainer is the type. Tool is the tag. I think I like mine more at the bottom. but we could probably borrow something from this design, or at least it's good to see how other games are doing it. Got the text here. That's good. It really comes right to the edge of the card. It's probably good. It's a nice big box to put the text in. I'm sure they never use all of that. Here's the name. Let's pull up this. Can we do just like a side by side? Yeah. So, name, type. I get style. These cards don't really have styles, but I guess neither are mine right now, at least. Text, cost modifier. That is not present on this card. Text tags. So I guess what I'm looking at mostly here is like just the general style of it. They got sort of this futuristic brushed metal look. Looks kind of chrome around like the features at the top here, which I like. You can tell in this little box at the bottom, they're sort of suggesting that it's like a physical box with this drop shadow inside of it. Looks like something that you could put the text inside of. So I like that element of physicality. You see sort of the same thing around this the frame, around the on the image of the card. So that's cool. All right, I think this is a good starting place. I also want to hop on Pinterest real quick and just look up like trading card game cards. So, is this the new Star Wars game? Dang. Okay. Okay. We're just looking. We're just browsing right now. Here's cost in a corner. I assume this is probably like card type. Nice and subtle up at the top. Yep. Obviously the art is... This card is very art forward. It takes up the whole thing and they just kind of put the text right over it. Let's look at something that's not Digimon. This looks cool. Marvel? Lots of icons going on over here. Let's look at the Transformer game. Yeah, so they've got like different stats kind of separated into boxes up above. Looks like your cards can shift modes. That's kind of cool. Interesting. Type, class type, or maybe that's just an icon. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's start working over here. I'm going to keep this window pulled up on the side and just kind of pull from it as needed. Just kind of have it here for reference. get back into Illustrator, because I'm also going to need to have this open off to the side. Oh, shoot. My problem is that it's minimizing this window as well when I minimize Photoshop, so we'll just kind of go like, we'll just export this. All right, nice little image. Go to Illustrator. Let's get to work. So, I guess we'll once again start by just kind of getting the rough shapes down. I'm thinking the style will probably be a circle. And maybe we can have the circle kind of cut into this name rectangle. That would be cool. Maybe the cost. Okay, so this, I'm thinking maybe we kind of rotate it 90 degrees and have it coming down the side of the card. Let's see what that will look like. Let's make those first. Grab my pen tool. Hopefully this works better in Illustrator than it did in Photoshop. Just drop a little point there. Direct select. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted all along. Cool. Cool. And we could probably grab just these. Oh. Let's grab just these points. Ugh. It's been a while since I used Illustrator. Forgetting my hotkeys. I'll go like that. Cool. What's next? Text box. Sure. Gotta have that. Nice wide text box. Give it plenty of room. Maybe not quite so wide. Okay, then the last thing is going to be this type and tag box at the bottom there. Drop this down a little bit, give the artwork a little more room. Not that it really makes sense to think about artwork too much at this particular stage, considering there isn't any. Okay, but I'm generally liking the way this looks. I think I want to round this corner. Something like that. And going around these corners too. And maybe these? What does that look like? You know what? This, I do like that, but I want to get rid of, that actually. So this is kind of more a symmetrical box shape. And now we can round these corners. Okay. Very cool. Let's experiment a little bit with this text box. Let's go like bring the box in a little bit, center it. Go ahead and drop this all the way down. And then let's grab these 2 points. Well, what I want is something like this. I want to make sure that's symmetrical though, which if I remember right is kind of hard to do in Illustrator. And I also want to add some points in here. No, not like that. I'm going to add it to the line. Okay. I'll kind of bring that down a little bit. Bring this out more, I think. Okay, and then this box will kind of go like this. Also drag these out. Nope. Just this and this. And now I think it needs to have more space. We'll have to add points. Let's go like that. Okay, yeah, that's good. We're just kind of messing around, but I feel like this is a cool shape. I'm probably overdoing this. We're going to call that good. Yeah, we're going to call that good. So these are the overall... Oh, wait. We still need to carve out this circle from this rectangle. So let's copy, paste, and then let's select this, and then select this, and then remove. And that should be a nice, yep, perfect. We can actually shrink this down a little bit. Cool. Okay, I think I like this. Pop them back over to InDesign real quick to just recheck on the cards, reaffirm that we've got everything we need here. Yeah, I think we do. Okay, so let's start making these look cool. Do we want to put like a border around the card maybe? It's a good place to start sometimes. What does the border tell us, though? I'd like to communicate what type of card it is just by like the colors, so you can tell at a glance what's going on. Thinking all the cards should probably have the same color border, though. Give it a black border. Around the corners on that. Actually, we probably need to do 2 of these. Yeah, something like that. Let's go ahead and lock these so we don't mess them up. This is going to need to get shrunk down a little bit. Just a little bit. And maybe a little more. I feel like it would be cool if this part kind of came off the side of the card. And maybe even connected to this, like kind of down in the corner here. We give like kind of a metal swoop. And on this corner and maybe on the top corner too. Let's see what that looks like. So I'm going to start doing some colors on these, I think. Get rid of the stroke. Do like kind of a gray. And we want to remove this and then kind of curve this. I'm gonna have to remember how curves work in here. I know there's a curves tool. Okay, new idea. We actually just grab this. And make this the curve. That's starting to be kind of what I want. Not quite, though. I gotta figure out where this curves tool went. Time for a Google search. Illustrator curves tool. Pen tool options. Yeah, I thought it would be in here. This is the pen tool. You have to pardon me while I do a little light reading here off to the side. Here, you can see this actually. This is what we want. Okay. Ah. Wait, that was what I wanted. This is exactly what I want. But then it goes back to that. What the heck? Maybe we can just manually draw it. No. That's what we want. Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. Cool. Okay. So this will kind of just have to keep in mind that everything past this black line will ideally get cut off during the trim process. Maybe this just extends to the border like that. Yeah, I think that's cool. And then we can grab these and round them. And then let's grab another circle up here. Position that kind of in the center of this circle. That's good. Yeah, I like that. I think this actually, instead of getting intersected there, instead of getting cut off, can just go down behind that. Yeah, that looks better to me. Okay, now let's combine some shapes here. I'd like to keep this separate just in case we want to do like a double swoosh. In fact, let's maybe scale this up. Let's do both at the same time. Okay, yeah, then we're gonna copy this, paste it, drop it back, and maybe there. And then let's grab all of these shapes. Not that one. Let's just merge those. Let's give it a gradient. Where's my gradient tool? This. I feel like the settings in InDesign have changed since the last time I used this. Not InDesign, Illustrator. I used to have all these. Oh, there's my gradient tool. Never mind. I'm used to it being like docked right there. Also, let's turn this off for now. Yeah, so we can see the whole gradient. I'm going to change some of these colors. Probably have it start something like that and end something like that. That's good. That's too dark, I think. No, it's not. Change the angle of it as well. What we're trying to do is have like a brushed metal look that kind of swoops down the card. Okay, so actually it's the other way. -90. Yeah, that's cool. And then we're going to do the same thing up here. First copy this shape. so that we can come back to it later if we want to. Turn off the copy, grab these two, merge them, and apply that same gradient. Let's actually come in here and add this gradient to... Oh, that's probably why I had it undocked. So I can do this little trick. Pretty sure. Yeah, there we go. Now we got a new gradient. We just come over here, click that, and rotate it 90. And that looks darker for some reason, so let's just kind of adjust where that hits. I think that looks good. Okay, get rid of the stroke on this. We want this to look like just kind of an indent in the middle. So probably we should give it the same gradient. Make each of these one shade darker. Now that one can stay the same. Maybe make this 2 shades darker. And we'll bring the stroke back, actually. Can we do a gradient stroke? We can. Look at that. That's nice. Needs to be -90, I bet. Cool. Like that. All right. Let's... I also want to give this a stroke as well, a gradient stroke. Because I was liking how that looked. Let's do the same thing with this. Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. I am starting to think that this corner needs to be better utilized. Like, it doesn't make sense to just have all this empty space up in the corner, I don't think. I don't know. I don't hate it. Let's turn this back on. Oops. And scale it down. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Gonna do the same thing in this bottom corner. Very cool. Very, very cool. Okay, let's what to do next? Let's color these. Just to get some rough color in there. I'm thinking maybe. So this is the cost. Maybe we do yellow and orange. This is the cost. This is the modifier. The lighter color is like a little bit lighter, less permanent, more. You get it back at the start of every turn. The darker color indicates like a more permanent effect that is going to stick with you for the rest of the game. So I think that those kind of visual cues work. But obviously solid colors are boring, so we're going to mess with these eventually. Let's I do think we probably want to continue with this sort of like beveled metal motif across here as well. Let's maybe turn this around. 90. We can probably brighten this. Yeah, that seems cool. Do the same thing on this one. Brighten this. This 90. So it looks like they're kind of indented into this feature swooping around the card. Okay, so I want to think about how we can add some visual interest to these boxes, so they're not just solid colors. I think probably what I'll do is go into Photoshop. How are we doing on time, by the way? 4:13? Yeah, I don't know how much longer I should keep going here. This might actually be a good stopping point. I can pick back up on it next time. Yeah, I do kind of think that's what I'm leaning towards. So I'm going to end it here. But before I do, let's quickly recap what's gone on during this stream. We just spent a ton of time styling this card. Maybe more time than I should have spent. I don't know. This is my favorite part of the design process, though. And I do think we're getting somewhere cool with this. Before we did that, though, we... first of all, we just looked at kind of the overall design doc for this game. And showed you what all is going on in here. Highlighted some key points. This didn't take very long. We'll revisit it, I'm sure, once we start playtesting more. Then we got into the nitty-gritty of the spreadsheet, with all of the text and stuff on there. That's cool. Took that spreadsheet, turned it into an InDesign document. Well, first we made this template that pulls from the spreadsheet and distributes it across different cards. And then we laid out all those cards for print so that when we're ready to play test this, we can just print it off, cut it out, have the cards ready to go. Probably we should also set it up for Tabletop Simulator, but that'll take a different template. And yeah, I think that's... So after we did this, then we just kind of spent the rest of the time fooling around with this new card layout. So that's where we're at. That's what's going on. We'll pick up back here next time. And yeah, thank you everybody so much for tuning in. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned some stuff. Hope that it was a fun overall experience. Also, apologies for the stream crashing in the middle of the show. Didn't do it again, so I'm pretty sure that it was just a matter of me trying to record at the same time. Sophie, still here. Wow. Thank you for being here the whole time. You commented at the start and at the end. You were here the entire show. Really appreciate that. All right, well, I think that'll about do it for me here. I actually am about to start streaming again here in about an hour, or 2 hours rather, for our play space tonight over on the Play Games YouTube channel. But that'll be mostly Keith on camera. I'll just kind of be running it from behind the scenes. But be sure to tune into that if you're interested. And yeah, I will catch you all next time. Thanks for hanging out. See you again real soon.